So, anyway, so hello everybody. I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time, anyway, so I'm saying so many times, so many times. So so in this case, that's all I have just said. That does not modify those words coming after. So, but actually, in this case, that's all I have just said is like so it's a kind of the usage of the similar meaning to well, or stuff like them or stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm sorry, I'm really confused, and what I have just said is not a decent English, maybe. So this time, so from now on, or from this part in this episode, I'm going to speak out a decent English. I'm going to speak out a decent English. Of course, I don't speak English natively, but actually, so so I think, so I don't know much of, I don't know slang, so which is why I know some slangs, but actually, I'm not familiar. I'm not used to using slangs or words, stuff like that. So which is why the English language I'm going to speak out is a kind of decent English of non-native speakers or non-native speakers of English language. So this time, anyway, so I'm just a one non-native speaker of English language. Anyway, so this time I'm thinking of speaking out. So the topic is about white supremacy, or it's like so white people are superior to all the rest of the ethnic groups, or the rest of the people, stuff like that. So anyway, so the title is so the title is, so white guys killing black guys is a hate crime. Black guys killing white guys is just a crime. So, and anyway, the conclusion is, so if you're frequent listeners of my podcast, so you know that I frequently digress in every episode. So in every episode I frequently digress, or I have many digressions in each episode. So each episode has many digressions, which is what I'm saying. So which is why, so I'm going to tell you the conclusion in the beginning of this episode. Also in this episode. So the conclusion is, human societies are complicated. If white guys kill black guys, the reason is not necessarily a racial segregation. So so I have thought of that case. So why if you have a question, or if you get a question, what, for example, why I began to talk about white supremacy in this present era, or in this present time. So, or if you can't understand why I began to talk about white supremacy in this present time, so that is because there's a murder case. There's a murder case in the United States of America, and which state has that murder case is, so maybe not maybe state of New York got that murder case, and in which a white person, or white perpetrator, or white murderer shot 10 or more black people. I'm sorry for my bad pronunciation of English language, but actually 10 or more black people, or 10 or more black guys or black men were killed by that white perpetrator, or white murderer, by gunshots. Anyway, so which is why, so which is according to the news, or according to the broadcast news in my country. So maybe the cause of that case, or the motive of that white perpetrator was related to white supremacy. And the Mr. President Joe Biden said, white supremacy is a poison, or stuff like that. So anyway, so which is why I thought about white supremacy was and that including that case, and that is because if you are a frequent listener of my podcast, so maybe you know that I'm an East Asian living in an East Asian developed country, and the name of that East Asian developed country is Japan. So which means I'm a Japanese person. So anyway, so which is why, so I'm one of such colored people, and in that case of state of New York, or in that case of New York, so it was some black people who were murdered or who were shot. But actually, if the motive was related to, or if the motive was white supremacy, I might have become a victim of, I might have been shot by that white murderer. And which is why that is really dangerous even to me. Or that is anyway, I felt fear to that case, or to that murderer. So which is why I thought about that case. So but actually, so not all the case. Not all the cases are related to such racial segregations. For example, so in this case, so as I said in the section of title, so what I want you to think about is that if some white people kill some black people, if white people kill some colored people, do you really think that the cause of that murder is white supremacy, or was racial segregation, or stuff like that? So which is what I'd like you to think about. And that is because, for example, so if some black people try to kill those white people, and the white people try to protect themselves, and in the course of battles, it was for example it was that group of black people who were killed. So in such a hypothetical situation, it is a fault of black people who are killed by white people. And in that hypothetical situation, it is that group of black people who initially attacked those white people who counterattacked, who successfully counterattacked those black people, and those black people were killed. Please imagine such a situation. So in that case, those white people protected themselves, which is really natural actions, or which is really a natural act. So thinking about such a situation, so racial segregation or white supremacy is not the cause of that murder case in which those black people were killed. So like which, so for example, in the case of in United States of America, so some people say that so chances are black people or black people are likely to commit crimes. That is because many black people are poor people, and so of course there are some rich black people actually, but actually so in the social situation of the United States of America, there are more black people, there are more poor black people, there are more impoverished black people than the number of impoverished white people, which is what I'm saying. So in such a case, so if a black person kills a white women, for example, and in such a case, that case is treated as, for example, just a crime, like that black person or that black perpetrator in this hypothetical situation try to sexually assault those white women, stuff like that, but actually, so the cause of or the motives of such murder cases are not necessarily related to white supremacy or racial segregations, and vice versa can true. For example, if a white person tries to kill some black women, for example, if a white man tries to kill some black women, for example, the motive is not necessarily racial segregation or white supremacy. So anyway, so if the investigations of the police are necessary for those murder cases. So which is what I'd like you to know this time. So so and in this part. So before actually ending this episode, I'd like to tell you. I'd like to talk about a past episode of my podcast. So once or in the past, I have created an episode in which I was talking about the Russo-Ukrainian War, and so what I talked about was the topic was like, it was fine. It is fine that Ukrainian cute girls and beautiful women. It is fine that Ukrainian cute girls and beautiful women blow or suck the penises of Russian soldiers. So which is how things can go peacefully. So because that is because so according I can't get full recollection, but actually so what I said was like, so in the case of Russo-Ukrainian War, Russia invaded Ukrainian territory, and so it's fine. It's so what I was thinking of in that recording of that episode was that so it is fine if Ukraine is conquered by Russia, and in such a case it is fine that Ukrainian beautiful girls or cute or pretty girls and Ukrainian beautiful ladies suck the penises or blow the penises of Russian soldiers. So which is why things are going to get better. Even though Ukraine is conquered by Russia, which maybe such a thing was what I said in that past episode of my podcast. So thinking about such a fact, some Ukrainian people may come to hate me if those Ukrainian people listen to that episode of my podcast. So which is why most Ukrainian people are white people, and if some of them kill me, so that I can't necessarily say that the motive or the cause of that murder case it's related to white supremacy or racial segregation. So which is because I have created such an episode which may sound nasty to some Ukrainian people. So which is why so if such a murder case in which I'm killed by, well, I'm going to be killed by some Ukrainian people who will have listened to that past episode in which I was talking about the blowjobs of Ukrainian cute girls and beautiful women in favor of Russian soldiers. I'm sorry for my complicated explanation, but actually, thinking about such an episode of my podcast, so I may be killed by some Ukrainian people, Ukrainian white people. So in such a case, the cause may not be white supremacy, but that episode, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So before ending this episode, I'm going to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode. The title is "White guys killing black guys is a hate crime, and black guys killing white guys is just a crime." So in the beginning, so in the beginning, in the case of this title, so apostrophes are attached to white guys and black guys coming before the verbs. So I can understand it. So if you can't understand what I said, please take a look at the description column of this episode so that you can understand where those apostrophes are attached. So the conclusion is human societies are complicated. If white guys kill black guys, the reason is not necessarily racial segregation. Anyway, so in my podcast, so you can reach the conclusion of each episode. So to reach the conclusion of each episode, so please take a look at the description column of each episode, which is also what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.